A 21st birthday is always a special moment in a young person's life. It signifies a transition into adulthood. Now, my memories of my own 21st are hazy at best, but there's another very big birthday happening this year. If you can believe it, the Nissan X-Trail turns 21, and it's matured significantly over the last 2 decades. But does maturing mean it's lost some of the charm of the boxy original? We're about to find out, but before we dive headfirst into pricing and features, don't forget that my full written review is available at the CarsGuide site, and please feel free to give us a like and subscribe. Nissan has shaken up the X-Trail lineup for the 4th gen model. The ePower hybrid version is arriving in very early 2023, but we're concentrating on the petrol-powered models rolling into showrooms now. There's no longer a manual option this time around, and model grades include ST, STL, TI and TIL. The price of a new base ST two-wheel drive auto is up by more than $4,000 over the outgoing equivalent grade. It starts from $36,750 before on-road costs. Both the ST and mid-range STL are available in 2 and all-wheel drive, and the all-wheel drive is a 7-seater, and that adds about $3,000 to the price. Further up the range is the TI, while a new flagship grade joins the range, the TIL from $52,990. Both the TI and TIL are 5-seaters and they are 4-wheel drive. Standard features in the base ST include LED head and tail lights, 17-inch alloy wheels, roof rails and an 8-inch multimedia touchscreen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The equipment list grows with each higher model grade, and the top spec TIL comes with leather seats, a panoramic sunroof, powered tailgate, a 12.3-inch multimedia touchscreen with sat-nav, a 12.3-inch digital instrument panel, wireless phone charging and a 10.8-inch head-up display. Unsurprisingly, the X-Trail pricing and spec lines up closely with the mechanically related Mitsubishi Outlander. It's slightly more expensive than a Kia Sportage, Hyundai Tucson or Toyota RAV4, but the standard features and safety offering ensure good value for money. Despite what Nissan says, the new X-Trail looks nothing like the adorably rugged original from 21 years ago, which, by the way, is still a really cool looking car. This new X-Trail has had quite the gestation period too. It was actually revealed about 2.5 years ago, so it's taken a while to get to our market, but I think it still looks box fresh. And what it lacks in quirkiness, it makes up for in style. The X-Trail is a handsome SUV in the middle, and despite sharing underpinnings, doesn't look at all like the Mitsubishi Outlander. The split headlights and big V-motion grille give it a modern look that is also very Nissan. The tail end is also well executed, and overall the exterior is another example of great design in the medium SUV segment alongside the Sportage and Tucson. The 9-year-old model was desperately in need of a refresh, and on this the Nissan has done a great job on the interior. There are fewer controls on the centre stack, with a lot of them housed in the touchscreen, and the dash layout and overall cabin design is top-notch. To say that the new X-Trail marks a huge leap forward over the old one when it comes to the interior comfort and design would be the understatement of the year. The old one was looking very old by the time this model has gone on sale. Now it's a much more modern look inside, and Nissan is really at pains to talk about the premium materials as well. We're in a TIL here, so that's the flagship variant, and you've got Napa quilted leather seats, and soft touch materials and leather look materials on the dash as well, with that nice contrast stitching and some wood grain as well. There's a lot more tech in the cabin of this X-Trail as well. You've got a USB A and C port up front. In some variants you get a wireless device charger here, and of course in the TI and TIL you get a big 12.3-inch multimedia screen. In the lower grades that's an 8-inch unit. Storage wise, there's 2 generously sized cup holders here in the console. And actually this central bin is really deep, and there's another little nook there to hide things, so I think that's quite clever. The glove box is actually quite narrow, but it's fine. It obviously fits the manual, and that's really all that goes in there generally. And you can easily fit large bottles in the doors, as well as a few other items as well. So they've done very well on that front. And underneath the console, you can see here another little ledge, which is actually quite sizable. And they've got this clever little touch, which it's like a rubber mat, so you can put stuff there and it won't slide around. So there's more leg room in the rear of the X-Trail compared to the old model, which is fantastic. I'm sitting behind my 6-foot tall driving position, and as you can see, I have loads of leg room. There's heaps of tow room, which is fantastic, and even with the panoramic sunroof in this TIL, I've got heaps of headroom. So this is a really spacious rear seat. There's also quite a few nice appointments back here, again being the TIL. We've got rear heated seats, but in all variants you get rear air vents and a USB and a USA port, map pockets, and of course this little fold down number here where you can pop a phone in here, and you've got some cup holders there as well. It sits up a bit high, but it's fine. And you can definitely fit bigger bottles in the door as well, so that is also good. The seats are quite flat, but I think that works for things like child seats, so this is a nice cabin. Despite being shorter and lower than the outgoing X-Trail, the new one has the same wheelbase. The X-Trail has a sizable 585 litre boot for 5-seat versions, which is up about 20 litres over the old model, but that drops to 465 litres for the 7-seat versions. 5-seat X-Trails also have a neat party trick thanks to Nissan's divide and hide storage solution. You can lift and remove the 2 separate boot floor panels and place them upright to stow different items. And with the cargo blind in place, there's added security too. There's some underfloor storage for flatter items, and the X-Trail has a temporary spare wheel. Until the arrival of the ePower hybrid next year, all versions of the X-Trail are powered by a naturally aspirated 2.5 litre 4-cylinder petrol engine, delivering 135 kilowatts of power and 244 newton meters of torque. The engine is matched with a continuously variable transmission, driving the front or all 4 wheels depending on the model grade. The outputs match the Outlander, given it's the exact same engine, but it's not quite as powerful as the 2.5 litre Mazda CX-5. It is punchier than the petrol RAV4 and the 2-litre versions of the Tucson and Sportage. The X-Trail's 2.5 litre naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine is carryover from the old model, but Nissan has made significant tweaks to it. It feels quite a bit more responsive than the previous model. Nissan has retained a continuously variable transmission, or CVT, for the new X-Trail. And honestly, CVTs have come a long way in the last decade, and it's not really a bad unit. There's a bit of flair when you're going up a hill and pushing the engine hard, but apart from that, I think it's perfectly matched to this engine. Nissan's really sharpened up the steering in the new X-Trail, and it's very direct. What's interesting is comparing it to the Mitsubishi Outlander, which shares a platform and an engine with this car. The Outlander's is almost too lightweight and sensitive. I think Nissan's actually got the right balance with the new X-Trail. One thing that stands out as probably the most improved element of this car is the X-Trail's ride quality. We've done a lot of driving on this new car launch, and some of it's been on some pretty treacherous roads given the terrible weather and floods in Victoria. And this thing has just soaked up so many potholes, and even in the urban drive we went through a section of the city that was basically speed bump after speed bump, and it was so hard to fault this vehicle. So I think it's a great job. It's a really comfortable car to drive on pretty much any terrain. Buyers are expecting a lot more in this segment now when it comes to refinement, and Nissan's really come to the party with the noise suppression measures. Even on coarse chip roads, it's quite a quiet cabin. It's a great job on Nissan's part. Another nice surprise with the new X-Trail is how much better it handles than the old model. It's not a sports car, it's a family SUV, but there's still fun to be had on a twisty road in the new X-Trail. Nissan says the two-wheel drive X-Trail consumes 7.4 litres of fuel per 100 kilometres on the combined cycle, while the all-wheel drive version ups that to 7.8 litres. It also emits 174 to 183 grams per kilometre of CO2, depending on the driven wheels. The coming hybrid sips 6.1 litres, which is an improvement compared with the petrol version, but it's not in the same league as the RAV4 hybrid's 4.8 litre figure. Nissan has boosted the safety credentials of the X-Trail with the addition of the latest driver assist features. Just some of the standard gear from base ST grade up includes front auto emergency braking with pedestrian and cyclist detection, rear AEB with pedestrian detection and a cross-traffic alert, lane departure warning and adaptive cruise control. All grades have a front centre airbag. And the X-Trail has just been awarded a 5-star ANCAP safety rating. But for more on all of the safety tech, check out my full written review on the CarsGuide site. All X-Trails come with a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty. Buyers also have access to capped price servicing for the first 6 services, and it can be prepaid for the first 3, 4 or 5 services. The schedule for the servicing is every 12 months or 10,000 kilometres, and that's off the pace of some of its rivals that have a 15,000 kilometre term. For so long now, the X-Trail has trailed most of its competitors in the family mid-size SUV segment, and that gap has only widened in the last few years with really quality additions to the segment like the Hyundai Tucson and Kia Sportage. But what a comeback this is from Nissan. Sure, it might not be all new, but there's very little to dislike about the new X-Trail, and it deserves to be put back on a lot of people's shopping lists. For more on the Nissan X-Trail, head to my written review at the CarsGuide site.